Hello everyone, in this video we'll be going over Steve Pab F2, Peekaboo Forward 2. Peekaboo Forward 2 is quite an interesting move. You might be thinking, you know, it's a decent move, but does an entire video need to be dedicated to this one move? And I believe the answer is yes, and that's why this video is being made. Essentially, Pab Forward 2 is a decent mid that comes out of Pab, Peekaboo. It's quite evasive, it'll evade down jabs in specific situations. I'll see if I can replicate that now. So it's got a decent hitbox, it's quite low to the ground, it'll evade down jabs. It's got an extension, as you can see. It's minus 13 in the open. But due to the pushback, it's safe. It's only really punishable at the wall. So those are just sort of the basics. On paper and as a general sort of basic overview, the move doesn't look too great. I mean, it definitely does have its uses in Steve's move list. It's a great mid-range space control type move. The reward isn't too great, and you can't really confirm the ender. The ender is safe and you can't really walk around it, but I believe there's a 16 frame gap, if I'm not mistaken, here. Yeah, there's a 16 frame gap in there, so if you throw out a 16 frame move, you will trade with the ender. So that's just what it looks like basically on paper. However, there are some advanced techniques when it comes to this move. There are some advanced concepts, and these were sort of introduced around the same time that the Pakistani Tekken scene sort of blew up. I believe Hira Malik and some of the other established players at the time sort of showcased the utility and use of this move. Essentially, the main higher level utility that comes from this move that actually makes this move better than it seems at first glance is the ability to confirm into Sonic Fang. So I'll just demonstrate that now. So I didn't quite combo that, but as you can see there, I comboed that. That was Pab Forward 2 linked into Sonic Fang. Just bear with me, my hands are a bit cold, so I won't be able to get it very consistently. Just going to put the opponent on random guard, just to show that it is something you can confirm. You can just confirm that the opponent's been hit, and then throw out your Sonic Fang. Obviously, if you're not a scrub like me, you will hit this a bit more consistently. I swear it's just cold in my house at the moment. I've got those cold hands, so my hit rate isn't the best, but the move, it's hit confirmable, essentially, the follow-up, and it's great. It's basically another great tool for Steve's repertoire of space control, his mid-range space control. His mid-range space control in general is alright. It's not the best, you know, compared to like the electrics from the Mishimas, Claudio and stuff, but he has like Sonic Fang, QCF1, Albatross 2, Extended Albatross. He has his duck cancels and so on. So Steve really isn't starved for great moves from the mid-range to control space, to check the opponent. But Pab Forward 2 specifically is quite good now. It's really sort of filling that niche for like decent mid-range space control with good reward. I mean, look at the risk reward on this. It's minus 13, so you lose your turn, but it is safe in the open. But the reward is pretty sick, right? A Sonic Fang follow-up for 37 damage. That's pretty sick. Another thing to keep in mind is that you can actually get forward 1+2 2, but this only does 35 damage compared to Sonic Fang's 37, and the wall splatting properties aren't quite as good as Sonic Fang. And by that I mean that if you hit Pab Forward 2 Sonic Fang close to a wall, you can actually get a wall splat. Now that's really sick. That's actually another really key sort of aspect of this sequence to keep in mind, especially specifically that the Sonic Fang can actually lead to a wall splat, and with Steve having one of the best wall combos in the game in the Masagi Ender, this is really quite rewarding. And if you're near a balcony or some sort of floor break, the potential is really high for some really good reward. So that's basically what I wanted to touch upon. Furthermore, because we can get Sonic Fang from a Pab Forward 2, we can also get a Rage Drive. Now the way Rage Drive works in this scenario is it essentially gives a combo. The combo isn't the easiest. I haven't found anything too rewarding just yet. That's about the sort of B&B I go for, a quick cancel into forward 3-1. But if you consider that this situation simply requires a Pab Forward 2 to hit and a rage for yourself to be enraged for upwards of 83 damage, that's really sick. So I, as a Steve player, I've been using Pab Forward 2 quite a lot more recently, especially because this sequence isn't difficult. It really isn't that difficult to become consistent with. I believe like the frame leniency is about 2 to 3 frames, I would like to say, about something like that. So that's really not too bad. Again, the risk is really quite low because Pab Forward 2 on block it is -13, but it's very rare you're going to get punished. The only real time you should be wary of using this is when the opponent's back is to the wall, because with the opponent's back to the wall, as you can see, the pushback is minimal, so Steve can actually punish me here. So in these situations, it's probably best to keep in mind, you know, you've got better tools such as QCF1, Albatross 2 and so on. But if you want to be a bit cheeky and you really want to maximize that damage, if you are close to the wall, close enough to land a wall splat should you hit the Sonic Fang follow-up, but far enough that you won't actually be punished if the opponent blocks Pab Forward 2, then Pab Forward 2 can really shine at times. So definitely make this one of your, really try to practice this and get it locked down. Once you get that locked down and you can hit it fairly consistently, then you'll find that the rewards from this move are really noticeable. They'll really add to your gameplay. Obviously, I mean, you're probably not going to be hitting this too much in-game, but every now and then, if you can throw this out, if you want to catch opponents, probably in the mid-range, again, the range of this move is really good. It's about range 3. That's really decent. If you ever just want to catch the opponent out, see what they're doing. Again, the move is quite evasive, so you don't have to worry too much. It's quite fast at I-18. Then definitely throw it out, and if you hit the Sonic Fang and you're near a wall, and you get that wall splat, then you're laughing. You're absolutely laughing. And before I move on to showing you some examples of how this move could be pushed to its potential limits, I'll just quickly discuss how to perform this move, this sequence. So the way I like to execute this is by throwing out an instant Pab Forward 2 in the neutral. This is done by, the way I do it is I hold forward, press 3+4, keep forward held, press 2. That'll all link into Pab Forward 2. And then from Pab Forward 2, we actually need to exit out of Pab in order to do the Sonic Fang. And the way I exit is the same way I enter. I keep forward held from the first instance of pressing forward to enter Pab. And then leveraging that forward input, I input the 2 to get the Pab Forward 2, and then also input 3+4 to exit out of Pab. I'll just quickly show what that looks like now. As you can see in the command history, forward is held the entire time, and then the relevant inputs are inputted 3+4 to enter Pab, 2 to get Pab Forward 2, 3+4 again to exit out of Pab. From here, once Pab Forward 2 has been hit and I've exited out of Pab, I still keep forward held, and I simply also input down, keep down held, so I've got a down forward input, and then when Steve has recovered, I just press 1+2. So this is what that looks like. So just to break down the command history, as you can see, forward is held pretty much the entire time, enter Pab, Pab Forward 2, exit out of Pab, then initiate the pressing of down forward, and then once you feel like, okay, Steve has actually exited out of Pab and he has recovered and can input Sonic Fang, just press 1+2 and you should be able to sort of link it all together. I've not really looked into the frame by frame of this. I don't know exactly the frame leniency, how big of a frame gap there might be. I believe just by playing around with it, it's about a 2 frame gap. is what it feels like to me. Maybe about 2 to 3 frames. 3 frames might be a bit too lenient. I would say about 2 frames. So it's definitely something that can be made consistent. One thing to keep in mind, however, is if you do mess up, you are actually liable to being punished. And the way in which I mean this is if you do Sonic Fang too late, if you're late with the Sonic Fang, the opponent can tech and you will be whiffing Sonic Fang in their face. I'll show you what that looks like. As you can see, this Steve was too late on his Sonic Fang and he is whiffing Sonic Fang. This means that I can actually punish him. Now, I've not looked too deeply into this either. I believe it's probably about an I-12 while standing punish that you can get out at most. Although I probably should look into this a bit more and really find out, is it I-13, I-14? Because with I-13, obviously we can get launched. In fact, let's check that out now. Right, so we've got Josie now. Steve is with the Sonic Fang and he's too late. Yeah, so it looks like you won't be liable to an I-13. It's mainly around about I-11, I-12. Of course, this all hinges on how late you were with Sonic Fang. If you're really late, you will be a bit more punishable. But it's unlikely that you'll be more than -13. So, but yeah, it's just something to keep in mind that if you do mess up, if you are late with your Sonic Fang, you can get punished. It's very rare that this has happened. It's never happened to me. I think that's mainly because the opponent isn't aware that they can punish me in this situation. This is obviously quite a niche situation to encounter, and not many people will have the knowledge. So yeah, but if you do go up against a Steve player who is trying to hit this sequence on you and they mess it up, make sure you do get that I-11 punishing at the very least. And what I'll do now is I'll throw in some combos, some situations where I showcase what this sequence is capable of. And yeah, so feel free to sit back, relax, and just enjoy the combos coming up. And thank you very much for watching this video. And if you enjoyed this video, please just stay tuned, keep an eye out for further videos, and I'll catch you later. Thank you very much. Shoot!